We should credit Justin Trudeau with keeping his promise to call the premiers and territorial leaders to a climate summit in the very early days of his government. We may also note that there's no surprise that climate change is the priority item on Mr. Trudeau's agenda. He approaches this issue with zeal. We saw it in Paris, we saw it in Vancouver, and we'll be seeing it again in Washington this week. Now, it is the prerogative of those who win elections to pick their priorities, and this is especially the case for prime ministers. On whether the summit last week was a success, we have the usual range of opinion, from a real breakthrough to kicking the can down the road. Personally, I think it's too early to fill in the scoreboard. Where there can be no debate is that Mr. Trudeau has placed it on the very top of his Canadian agenda. For policymakers, pundits, academics, and environmentalists, this is all a quite wonderful thing. On the street level, however, where, because of the economy, people from waiters to heavy equipment operators are stranded without jobs, where provincial budgets are racking up record deficits, where in particular provinces such as Alberta and Newfoundland, huge numbers have lost work, businesses have closed, house values declined, and the day-to-day life of many Canadian families has been turned upside down. On that level, people's attention, understandably, is not on future carbon emissions, but on their immediate economic plight. And so, it may be permissible to ask, why not an urgent First Ministers' Conference placing the economy and jobs at an equal altitude to climate change on Mr. Trudeau's agenda? It would be, in dreadful business speak, a win-win. For the individuals and families caught in the downturn, it's hard to get excited on progress towards global cooling when the unemployment checks are running out. It's hard to get excited about global environment when your business is about to fail, or when public services are going to get cut. However, directing high-level priority to these immediate concerns, showing an urgency and compassion for those individuals facing the torment of finding a job in a job-scarce economy, would work wonders on widening and deepening acceptance of the other half of his agenda. Mr. Trudeau, both by his persona and his position, has great leverage now, much greater than most prime ministers' mere days in office. If he were to utilize that leverage, and with an equal passion, summon the premiers to a second national summit to hear their thoughts on jobs, business, the economy, and particularly the great number of newly unemployed, I think most Canadians, even those who are not his fans, would see it as a very fine balance. A healthy economy is not the enemy of the environment. It's at least a helpful partner and maybe a precondition. For The National, I'm Rex Murphy.